Welcome to this Strategic Explainer. Today, we're putting on our consultant hats and conducting a rigorous audit of the modern entrepreneurial mindset. If you've ever felt like you're running at absolute maximum speed but barely inching forward, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to diagnose the fatal flaws of what we all call hustle culture and reveal exactly how the top 1% of leaders actually build sustainable, predictable success. Let's get to work.
Whenever I look at a business as a strategic consultant, we have to start our audit with the absolute hardest question in the room. Why do 90% of people who try ultimately fail? I mean, it's a staggering mortality rate for ambition, right? But the first step to solving any problem is just looking the reality of that statistic right in the face.
And the crucial point here is understanding the why behind that 90%. Our source material makes this crystal clear. They do not fail because of laziness. That's a massive, massive misconception. They aren't failing because they're just sitting on the couch doing nothing. They fail because of hopeless, uncalibrated effort. They are pouring massive amounts of energy into a total void. It's effort without a compass. And honestly, raw effort is just not enough to guarantee survival, let alone actual success.
So let's start our diagnosis by looking at Section 1, the illusion of busyness.
You have got to immediately stop confusing mere busyness with actual, tangible progress. Busyness is answering emails at midnight, constantly putting out fires, and just feeling exhausted all the time. Sure, it feels like work, but real progress, that's moving the needle. That's strategic growth. As an entrepreneur, your absolute most precious resource is your focus. So when you confuse sweating with winning, you're actively destroying your own potential.
The classic symptom of this illusion is a cycle you probably know a little too well. Setting massive, aggressive goals and then forcing yourself to grind it out, working 16-hour days to hit them. And what happens? Well, the source lays it out mathematically. It guarantees inevitable burnout by day 3. You sprint out of the gate, completely redlining your engine, and then you just crash. You spend the next 4 days recovering, only to start that whole vicious, unproductive cycle all over again.
We love to romanticize this 16-hour approach, right? We call it discipline, but it's not. The source material labels it perfectly. It is simply non-strategic self-harm. Honestly, let that phrase sink in for a second. Non-strategic self-harm. You're actively damaging your greatest asset, which is you, without getting any strategic return on investment. It's just terrible business. Which brings us to the core illness at the heart of this failure rate. In Section 2, the trap of motivation. Listen, motivation is the absolute cheapest and most fleeting emotion available to us, yet amateurs constantly use it as their primary operational tool. True leaders, true executives, do not force themselves forward by constantly straining and relying on motivation. Think about it strategically. Why on earth would you build a foundation of your entire enterprise on an emotion that completely disappears the second you feel a little tired, hungry, or stressed? You wouldn't. It's an incredibly fragile way to operate.
And that perfectly tees up Section 3, the power of systems.
When the system runs, success becomes an inevitable result. This right here is the consultant's holy grail. It's all about predictability. When you make that shift, when you stop relying on your daily mood and instead focus your energy on building a robust system, literally everything changes. You just let the system run, and suddenly success transforms from a random stroke of luck or exhausting blind effort into an inevitable, mathematically certain outcome. A well-oiled system is the tightly guarded secret of industry leaders. Why? Because it bridges the gap. It delivers superior, top-tier results without completely draining your very limited, finite energy. The system does the heavy lifting for you. It completely automates the routine stuff so you can actually reserve your cognitive energy for high-level strategy.
Let's dive into how to actually do this in Section 4, optimizing the process.
This is the exact moment the divergence happens. While 90% of people are completely exhausting themselves just trying to finish today's job, clearing the inbox, shipping the order, the top 1% are calmly putting all their effort into optimizing the process itself. They aren't just out there chopping wood, they're spending their time sharpening the axe. They are building a machine that will chop the wood for them tomorrow.
But to pull this off, you need a hard stop. The source material is totally adamant about this. You have to stop running so fast on the wrong path. There is absolutely zero strategic ROI in extreme velocity if your vector is wrong. If you're sprinting in the wrong direction, all that hustle is just getting you to the wrong destination faster. You've got to be willing to hit the brakes.
Which leads us to our final point, Section 5, the top 1% mindset. To execute this transition, you need a strategic roadmap. Step 1, you absolutely must stop your current frantic momentum. Step 2, you stop so you can actually build the right path. And step 3, you achieve this by cultivating stillness in your thought process. As a leader, quiet strategic thinking is literally your strongest weapon. It's the only way you rise above the noisy, panicked, constantly grinding crowd out there.
The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is this: don't try harder, work smarter. I know it sounds like a total cliche, but mathematically, based on our audit today, it is the absolute truth. You literally cannot outwork a fundamentally bad system. You'll just burn out in 3 days. You have to step back, design the architecture of your success, and actually start working smarter. So, I want you to look at your own daily routine and ask yourself this crucial question today. Are you still desperately trying to just finish the job, or are you finally ready to optimize your system? If you are tired of the endless hustle and ready to cultivate the systems of the top 1%, take this audit to heart. Start building your path. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep optimizing.